Hello, my dear friends. How are you doing? Hope you are having an amazing day and not having to deal with drama. Ready for new stories I have for you today? Let's go to the first one. And don't forget to listen to the end of the story, guys, to hear my insights. Enjoy the stories. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. I, 16 female, have always had a complicated relationship with my mom. My parents divorced when I was 6, and for a while, I thought I was the reason they split. My mom, Laura, 43 female, would often snap at me during arguments with my dad, saying things like, "You're just like your father," or "Do you know how much I sacrificed for you?" As a little kid, I took those words to heart. My dad, Michael, 45 male, was a stable, loving presence in my life, but he didn't have any primary custody. The court awarded that to my mom, so I spent most of my time with her. At first, it wasn't terrible. My mom was attentive, if a little controlling. But everything changed when she met my stepfather, Dave, 47 male, and they got married when I was 10. Dave wasn't outright cruel, but it was clear he didn't see me as part of his family. He'd make comments about your dad's money, or tell my mom they should focus more on our kids. When my mom and Dave had 2 children together, my half-siblings, my role in the family shifted. Suddenly, I was the free babysitter, the errand runner, and the afterthought. While they showered my half-siblings with attention and affection, I was expected to step up and help the family. My dad, on the other hand, never let me down. He paid significant child support every month, and whenever I spent weekends with him, he made sure I felt valued and loved. He'd take me to my favorite restaurants, help me with school projects, and listen when I needed to vent. He always asked if I was okay living with my mom, and I'd lie, saying everything was fine because I didn't want to make things harder for him. One day, a few months ago, everything changed. I came home early from a sleepover at a friend's house because I wasn't feeling well. I didn't bother announcing my arrival. I just wanted to crawl into bed. As I walked into my room, I overheard my mom and Dave talking in the kitchen. Their voices were low, but the tone was tense enough to make me stop and listen. "I'm telling you," Dave said, his voice dripping with frustration. "We wouldn't even need her here if it wasn't for that child support. Do you know how much easier things would be without her eating into the budget?" I froze. I knew they were talking about me, but I couldn't believe what I was hearing. My mom sighed. I know, but we need that money, Dave. Without it, we'd be screwed. Just a few more years, and then we'll be done with this." Done with this? Done with me? I felt like someone had punched me in the stomach. My mom didn't love me. She didn't even care about me. To her and Dave, I was just a source of income, a way to fund their lives and support their kids. I felt tears streaming down my face as I crept back to my room. I wanted to burst into the kitchen and scream at them, but I knew I needed to handle this strategically. That weekend, I went to my dad's house as usual. As soon as we sat down for dinner, I couldn't hold it in anymore. I started crying and told him everything I'd overheard. My dad's face went red with anger. He put his fork down, got up, and hugged me tightly. "I'm so sorry, sweetheart," he said, his voice shaking. "You should never have to feel like this. You don't deserve any of it." My dad wasted no time contacting his lawyer. He told me he'd always wanted full custody, but didn't want to uproot me unless I was unhappy. Now that he knew the truth, he was determined to get me out of that toxic environment. The court process took months. During that time, my mom and Dave seemed to sense that something was up. My mom started actively being overly sweet, buying me gifts and asking about my day like she actually cared. Dave mostly ignored me, but when he did speak, it was curt and dismissive. I played along, knowing that the truth would come out soon enough. Finally, the court date arrived. I was nervous, but ready. My dad's lawyer called me as a witness, and I told the judge everything I'd overheard. I described how my mom and Dave only kept me around for the child support money, how they didn't care about me, and how they prioritized my half-siblings over me in every way. As I spoke, I glanced over at my mom. Her face was pale, and her jaw was hanging open. She looked like she couldn't believe what she was hearing. Dave, on the other hand, stared straight ahead, his expression cold and unyielding. When the judge asked me if I felt safe and cared for at my mom's house, I didn't hesitate. "No," I said firmly. "I feel like a burden, not like a daughter." The judge ruled in my dad's favor. My mom lost custody of me, and my dad no longer had to pay her child support. As we left the courtroom, my mom tried to approach me, tears streaming down her face. "Wait," she called out. "I'm so sorry, honey. Please, let's talk about this." I turned to face her, my heart pounding with a mix of anger and relief. "Get a job, lady," I said, my voice steady. "You'll need it now." I walked out with my dad, leaving her standing there stunned. Moving in with my dad was like stepping into a new world. For the first time in years, I felt like I could breathe. I didn't have to walk on eggshells or feel like a second-class citizen in my own home. My dad made sure I had everything I needed, from emotional support to a safe, comfortable space to call my own. Meanwhile, my mom and Dave were spiraling. Without the child support payments, their finances took a massive hit. They'd been living beyond their means for years, relying on my dad's money to cover their bills and fund their lifestyle. My mom even had the audacity to call me and ask if I could talk to my dad about reconsidering. I laughed and hung up. She also took to social media, posting dramatic rants about how I'd betrayed her and how my dad had brainwashed me. Some of my relatives bought into her sob story and tried to guilt-trip me, saying I was too harsh. But most of them knew the truth and sided with me. I won't lie, there are moments when I feel a pang of guilt. Not because I think I did the wrong thing, but because I can't believe how little my mom actually cared about me. Part of me wishes things had been different, that she could have been the kind of mom who loved me unconditionally. But the other part of me knows I made the right choice. She showed me who she really was, and I chose to protect myself. Now, I'm thriving in a way I never thought possible. I'm excelling in school, spending quality time with my dad, and finally feeling like I matter. If that makes me the villain in my mom's story, so be it. I'd rather be the villain than a victim. So, Reddit. Am I the a-hole for exposing my mom and stepdad in court and laughing in her face after she lost custody of me? OP's mom and stepdad didn't just fail OP, they actively exploited OP. The fact that they only kept OP around for the money is disgusting, and OP had every right to expose them. OP is not responsible for their financial situation, and it's not OP's job to feel sorry for people who treated her like a paycheck. Good for OP for standing up for herself and finally getting the love and support she deserves. And now let's hear the community's opinion. Wow, the audacity of your mom and stepdad is mind-blowing. They literally admitted they only cared about the child support, and now they're surprised that you don't want anything to do with them? That's called karma. You're absolutely not the a-hole, and your "get a job, lady" line was iconic. Don't let anyone guilt-trip you into feeling bad for protecting yourself. Not the a-hole. This is one of the most satisfying stories of justice I've ever read. Your mom and stepdad thought they could treat you like a financial asset, and you turned the tables on them. I'm so glad your dad stepped up and fought for you. You deserve to feel loved and valued, and it's clear you're finally in a better place. Stay strong, and don't let your mom's crocodile tears get to you. Your mom's behavior is indefensible. She had every opportunity to be a loving parent, and she chose to see you as a paycheck instead. The fact that she's trying to play the victim on social media is just pathetic. You're not the a-hole at all, and I hope you continue to thrive in your new life. Your dad sounds amazing, and you're lucky to have him in your corner. My fiance's grandmother loves me. Like, she calls me more often than either of her grandchildren. She buys me nicer gifts than them. And she brags more about my accomplishments to her friends than she does about her grandchildren. She does this because I definitely treat her better than they do. So there is a good reason for it. Every time I visit, I bring baked goods that I made from scratch. Our second Christmas together, I gave her a handmade quilt, and I am pretty much the entire reason my fiancé visits her. When fiancé and I had been together for 3 years, she gave him her late husband's family heirloom diamond ring. She told him to make the ring something that I would like and propose. She was very spotty with the details, but the week before or the week after she gave my fiancé the diamond, his mother, grandmother's daughter-in-law, started talking about how her daughter should get it. Grandmother told them it was traditionally a man's diamond and that it was going to my fiancé, and he is the only grandson. Both my future mother-in-law and future sister-in-law lost their minds, screaming that if fiancé got his hands on that diamond, he'd ask me to marry him. Grandmother told them that that was the point, and they got even more angry. Future mother-in-law called fiancé, yelling that the ring is not and will never be his, and that if he uses it as an engagement ring, he'd be dishonoring his grandfather. She went on, and fiancé just listened to it and told her that it wasn't her choice. Fiancé and future grandmother-in-law kept all of this drama away from me, and we got engaged in December. He'd had the diamond for a year and a half. Since I didn't know about the drama, I posted a typical engagement picture on my social media that showed off the ring. Future mother-in-law lost her crap. We don't live anywhere near her. We never talk to her. Fiancé has completely cut his parents out of his life and hasn't seen them in years. The call is the only time she's even talked to him. That didn't stop her from commenting all over my posts. That diamond do not belong to you. This engagement is a lie. 3 carats is too big for your tiny hands. Good luck holding on to that stolen diamond. I'm taller and have longer fingers than my daughter, so I don't know what that's all about. Sister-in-law, he better get the diamond back when you leave. At this point, we're just letting her blow off steam and enjoying our new relationship level. She doesn't affect our life. It's just a little annoying explaining the crazy lady to our friends and family. I will block her, but I think I'll wait until after the wedding, so she can see what she missed out on for being nothing but evil to me for years. You may consider having a copy made and having it set with an imitation stone. It is fairly common when you consider that a 3-carat stone is like wearing a new car on your finger. When traveling or visiting your just-know mother-in-law, they may actually make it accidentally disappear. If you ever go into the hospital, she will be at your house snooping to see if you left it somewhere. Sounds to me like there's no level she won't stoop to because she honestly thinks it belongs to her, and she is entitled to it. If you want to pull a nice troll, then forget to invite her to the wedding. Send out invitations to everyone except future mother-in-law and future sister-in-law. When it gets back to them that they weren't invited, they'll flip out and call. Then just act like it was a big misunderstanding. Oh, you said our engagement was a lie. See attached screenshot. So we just assume you objected to the wedding and didn't want to come. If you want to come, I guess we can make some room, and I think I might have a couple extra invitations lying around somewhere. I'll see if I can get one in the mail to you. If not, I'll just make future grandmother-in-law's invitation a +3 for the 2 of you. Hi, I feel like I should start off with some background info. I think my mother-in-law means well, but has issues, and I need to get this off my chest. My husband and I have 19-month-old twins. My mother-in-law, husband's stepmom, was never able to have kids of her own, but wished she did. Ever since my twins were born, it's become more and more apparent that she's trying to fill an empty space with them. And hoarding, like she could be on TV, but that's another story. She always talks about how she would have been a great mother now, which never came up before, even when I was pregnant. My father-in-law at one point over the summer said she thinks of them as hers, which makes no sense to me, but whatever. She sees them 2 to 3 times a month for a visit, not to help, and has never changed a single one of their diapers. She means well, but she's awkward and doesn't know much about babies. When they fight over toys, she yells at them to break it up from the couch across the room. Someone gets bit, tears ensue. I could never trust her alone with them, mostly because of her cluelessness. I love that she wants a relationship with them, though. Over the summer, I saw twin baby dolls and immediately thought it would be really cute to get them for my twins for Christmas. When I bought them after Thanksgiving, I told my mother-in-law about them and how excited I was. My twins love stuffed animals and carry them around and hug them, so I think they would really like these. Plus, I think it would be really cute and special to give my twins their own little set of twin dolls. We will be seeing some of my husband's family the day after Christmas. My father-in-law, mother-in-law, mother-in-law's mom, and mother-in-law's brother, and his family, mother-in-law's best friend, and possibly neighbors, to celebrate Christmas with them. Last weekend, while I was making dinner and mother-in-law was visiting, she told me, "I hope you don't mind, but I got them each a doll too. They match, like twins." I got a little territorial and said something back to her like, "Oh, okay. They're going to be opening their twin dolls I got them on Christmas morning. I've been so excited about it. I can't wait." She said, "Well, they can have more than one doll," and went and sat on the couch, and I heard her sniffling. I don't know if she expected me to return mine or what, But that's not happening. This hasn't been the first time she's done something like this. I'm a sentimental person, and I enjoyed picking out their first Christmas outfits last year, and she wanted them in outfits she had bought instead. There are other things too, but I don't want to make this even longer. I know things like this don't matter to everyone, but they matter to me. It might be different if it was my own mom, but she never got to meet my twins. When we're in the presence of her family, my mother-in-law seems to sort of put on an act, making it seem like she's so much more involved than she actually is. It's weird. She's not an attention-seeking person in general, and doesn't do this when it doesn't involve my kids. I know she probably just wants to feel special, and this could have something to do with not having kids on her own, which I can empathize with. I think she probably wanted to have a special moment giving my twins their own set of twins, exactly why I wanted to. But it bothers me because I said I wanted that moment first, and I don't want to hand things like this over to her. Part of me thinks I'm being cruel though. It also bothers me because part of me thinks she sometimes uses my twins to put on a show in front of her family. And I think it's going to be a big one when we see them after Christmas, and I'm dreading the inevitable awkwardness. All this is just to vent. I wish she understood that there are certain moments that I as a parent feel I deserve. Special traditions, gifts, whatever it comes to be, that I feel I have earned. Because we are the ones rocking them to sleep, preparing their numerous, never-ending meals and snacks, and cleaning up the mess afterwards. We are the ones wiping the butts, boogers, and tears, and reading the same story over and over again for the 100th millionth night in a row. I was the one whose body was cut open, and I was the one who nursed them back to sleep all night long during their sleep regressions. I know this isn't the case for everyone, but my husband and I get no help. It's hard sometimes, so I don't feel like I should need to hand over what could be a precious memory to me to someone else. Does that make me crazy or an a-hole? It sounds like you do have a lot of sympathy for your mother-in-law due to her not being able to have children of her own. But I hope you remember that her sadness does not entitle her to your children. You are their mother first and foremost, and that will never change. You are completely allowed to feel upset about her performative act around her family and her veiled attempts to fill the mother role for your twins. It sounds like she's not a malicious person, but that doesn't give her the right to take special moments away from you as the parent. Have you talked to your husband about this? Might feel good to share how you've been feeling. Update. Hi again. So, a couple days ago I posted about how my mother-in-law told me she was getting my twins a similar gift. I had told her a month or so ago, right after Black Friday, that I got these adorable twin baby dolls for my 1.5-year-old twins, and the weekend before Christmas, she tells me she got them dolls too, that they look like twins. But they weren't the Melissa and Doug, Luke and Lucy twin dolls that I had excitedly purchased and showed her. That day, I clearly told her that it was the gift I was most looking forward to giving them. She seemed a little upset at the time, but didn't say much, and I assumed everything would be fine. I didn't offer to return mine because it was something special to me. I was definitely looking forward to giving my twins their own little baby twins, and wasn't about to hand this over. We saw my in-laws yesterday to celebrate Christmas with them, and they were the exact same dolls. Not only did she copy my gift idea, but she actually bought the same exact thing and lied about it. I still am, wiped out from being Santa, hosting Christmas, packing up everything for my two babies, and hauling them to mother-in-law's mom's house, and then this hits me. When my twins were unwrapping them, she played it off like, I didn't know if they were the same. Well, I wasn't sure. Yeah, right. I said, no, those are the exact same dolls I got. I'm so glad I got to give mine to them first, because it was special to me. I'm sure if you knew they were the same, you would have returned them because you knew how much it meant to me. I had those on my Amazon list since August, and they were the first Christmas gift I bought them. I said that right in front of her mother, her best friend, and my father-in-law. I feel a little guilty about it, but I felt like I needed to be clear because I need her to stop trying to hijack things from me. I don't know how she reacted because after that, I couldn't look at her. When my brother and sister-in-law and their family came a little later, she went out of her way to point out how she got them the dolls, but never mentioned that they were already gifted them by me first. I know she wanted to feel special in front of her family. I know she wanted a special moment. I don't have a problem with that. That was my moment though, and she knew that. And she didn't get it because they weren't excited about opening the same gift twice, and those dolls laid on the floor covered in paper while they played with new stuffed animals instead. And they will be staying there, and we left without them because we already have them at home. I still said thank you, and I think we were able to enjoy the rest of the evening together. At least I did. Other than that, it was a good time. I can't shake this feeling that I was a bee on Christmas, even though I don't feel like I did anything wrong. I'm not used to putting my foot down, but it's weirdly getting much easier now that I have kids. Thanks for reading my rant. I hope all your holidays went as smoothly as they could. Not the a-hole. I would have been pissed off as well. Don't feel guilty. If you don't speak, how will she or anyone know what you're thinking? You were not wrong to tell her how you felt. Now you know not to ever tell her again what gift you're getting for anyone, especially the kids. And you know that Christmas Day is for the kids and not for her. No need to ever go to mother-in-law's place for Christmas. We've always had a surface-level relationship with my in-laws because my husband can't stand their BS. Mother-in-law in particular is toxic, but very sweet on the outside. We had a baby 3 months ago and are seeing a lot more of them. It had been going okay. My mother-in-law is a huge Facebook user. She always removes the tag when I tag her in photos of the baby, but then posts the exact same photo herself right after. I found it odd and couldn't figure it out. Earlier this week, I realized what she's doing. She is photoshopping the baby to remove her angel's kiss birthmark. We asked her very nicely to please not Photoshop baby because we don't want her to have body image issues, and she's perfect as is. Mother-in-law told us to not worry because it'll be gone by the time baby is 1, so she won't know about the photoshopping. Husband then called her and said we were serious. She said we couldn't tell her what to do. We said that we make the rules with our baby, and if she can't honor this request, there will be no more photos. She then started screaming and hysterically crying that God will judge us for blackmailing her and that we can't keep her from her grandchild. Father-in-law and brother-in-law, who lives at home, also piled on. My husband is used to her craziness, but I am just heartbroken over it. I obviously don't want my baby to ever feel any hurt, though I know sadly she will. And it crushes me that her own grandmother doesn't think she's perfect. Even though baby doesn't know yet, I feel this crazy instinct to protect her and don't want my mother-in-law around if she thinks that way. I hate conflict, but will do what I need to do for my baby. I am dreading seeing her on Christmas, but we're giving her one more chance to see if she behaves, since we know apologizing will never happen. I'm also frustrated because I've had so much postpartum anxiety. I was doing much better, but this whole experience has really aggravated it again. I knew mother-in-law was crazy, but seeing it firsthand and feeling like my baby is being attacked has really hurt me. I know I shouldn't let her get to me, but it's putting a damper on baby's first Christmas, which I was so looking forward to. I would tell your husband that if she shows any disrespect, you are taking your baby and leaving. You are the parents and are protecting your baby. And if she doesn't follow both of your rules, no contact until she decides to listen. There's no negotiating. This is your baby. This woman is not a safe, healthy person for your daughter to have a relationship with. She's photoshopping an infant? She absolutely will make little comments about your daughter's weight and appearance throughout her life. These comments will implant themselves in your daughter's mind and grow into lifelong insecurities at best. Eating, anxiety disorders at worst. Mother-in-law apologizes and changes her attitude, or she doesn't see your child. Hi. A couple of weeks ago, we had a new employee hired at the company. He's a good guy and a widower named James, 36, and to my knowledge, his late wife passed away 8 months ago. Me, female 32, and other co-workers got along great with him. However, I noticed that he is still wearing his wedding band on his finger. It kind of confused me a bit, and I couldn't help bring it up with him while on lunch break. We talked, and I pointed out that he was being misleading by still wearing his wedding band when he's a widower. He looked quite bothered by what I said, but I tried to explain that I think that he was giving people the wrong idea or impression about his relationship status, since he's technically single and on his own right now. Don't want to sound cruel, but I'm speaking from technical angle. James said that he didn't give it much thought, meaning he don't care what people think, and that even if he wasn't wearing his wedding band and some woman approached him, he'd still turn them down since he's obviously not interested. For some reason, things got awkward and everyone stopped eating and just stared at James and me. I told him I don't know, but that really felt generally misleading of him, as in making people think he is in a relationship, married, when he is not, regardless of how he felt about being in a relationship. He got upset, called me rude, and said that I repeatedly disrespected his marriage and his late wife's memory with what I said, then took his stuff and walked away. My coworkers said regardless of who is right or wrong, though some said he overreacted. There was no reason for me to bring this up in the first place and cause a scene and make James upset with us, like that now he's not speaking to me and others who sided with me. Am I the a-hole? Did I overstep or did he overreact? Yes, the a-hole. A wedding ring isn't a sign to others you aren't available. It's a commitment to a person you love. His wife might be dead, but if he's not ready to move on, then he's still committed to her. Your confusion about his status isn't his concern. OP is such a cold-hearted a-hole. A wedding band isn't legal papers. It's not supposed to represent his technical legal relationship status. It's a token of love and dedication to the person he married. He's not wearing it to let others know he's available. He's wearing it for her memory and to show he's still committed to her, to his wife, who died recently and who he's still grieving. OP massively overstepped James' boundaries. He can wear his wedding band anytime, anywhere, and for whatever reason. It still wouldn't be OP's business. Her telling him is super rude and inappropriate. It seems like she's interested in the coworker. Back down, OP. He's not interested in you. And even if he was, any attraction he had would be wiped out by your overstepping his boundaries.